Good morning, everyone. It's great to have you here, and I'm inviting all those people that are watching this live stream. Come on in person, and you'll enjoy it even more and receive a lot more of the insight that is being shared at this service. Is there anybody here from another Unity this morning? Okay, anybody here for the first time? Raise your hand up high. We have a gift for you. Okay. Oh, in the back, yeah, the ushers can find you. That's good. That's good. Good. Someone said to me that you've done so much public speaking over the years. Do you ever get nervous when you're up there? And I say, no, I raised a teenage daughter.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Boulder. Those of you who are here in person, those of you who are joining us online, thank you for spending some time with us. We love spending some time with you. I've got a few announcements about what's upcoming right now. It's pretty straight to the point. We've got Easter coming up. We've got Easter, April 9th. We're going to have 2 services at the 11 and 9 a.m. With our full Easter production. Please grab a ticket for it for yourself, or grab extra tickets for friends, family, neighbors, anyone, maybe someone who's never been to Unity of Boulder before. Come see an Easter, but you're not an Easter performance and service that you're not going to see anywhere else, because no one's going to put it together like Jack and Norma do. So definitely check that out. We are also having next Sunday is our Palm Sunday service, which will be led by Santisha. She's not here today, but her brother Shad is going to be our speaker today. But next week she will be back doing Palm service. We are not doing a Good Friday service right before Easter this year. So don't show up on Friday. But outside of that, that's everything that's going on right now. This Saturday, oh man, I just remembered. We do actually have a volunteer event next Saturday. We're going to do an all-church cleanup. If anyone is available next Saturday, starting at 10:30 a.m., please come join us. We're going to clean the inside of the building, the outside of the building, so it's beautiful for Easter. So please come hang out with us. It's a good time. We have food, music, everything. So that is all. Now I'd just like to have Norma and Lisa come on out. And what we're going to do now is we're going to have our moment of prayer. And if you have anyone that you would like to have, or if you have anyone that you would have a prayer for and would like to have prayed over at Unity Village for a month, write that name down on a sheet of paper. You don't even have to write the full reason why you're praying. God knows. Just put it on a piece of paper. Lisa here is going to come down the center aisle and collect those from you, and we will send them on their way. So,
those who would like to sing can sing while others are writing. You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living
right, now I'd like to welcome out today's musical guest, who I'm sure you recognize, Marcy Baruch. Welcome back. Marcy, give it to him.
Good morning, everyone. I'm thankful to be here, thankful to be breathing, thankful to be alive. I woke up this morning and I had the most luxurious sleep, and I just said to my body, wow, thank you for sleeping me. Thank you for knowing how to do that. So there you go. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I just feel grateful. And all I feel is all because of you. All I reap is all I sow, and love is our living proof. Thank you for life. Thank you for everything. I stand here in grace and gratitude, and I thank you. Seasons come and seasons go, no matter what we choose. 1,000 names, 1,000 roads, all lead to one simple truth. Thank you for life. Thank you for everything. I stand here in grace and gratitude, and I thank you. Thank you for everything. I stand here in grace and gratitude, and I thank you. I thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, and all of the children that I raised in my family are communicators. And the interesting thing about ministry, most people don't have the opportunity to see behind the scenes what makes a minister a minister. So many people think, well, he goes to school and he receives a lot of lessons in theology and Bible, and that's what he does. He takes that out into the field and shares that with people. But what really makes a minister is having lived some when it wasn't a time where he was a minister. And so he just lived, or she just lived her life and learned the lessons of life, which we all are learning all the time. And without learning, you know, the hard, difficult things that life puts in front of us, it's not really something that you can participate in such a way as to help other people when they're going through difficult times. But that's the situation with our guest speaker today, who I've known forever. And he grew up, and I watched him go through the challenges of life in every possible way. He had no intention of becoming a minister for many years of his adult life, but he met the challenges along the way in an open-minded, meaningful way. He learned from them, he grew from them, and then he grew so expanded in awareness that he had the audacity to put in an application to become the president of the entire movement and my boss. So here is our guest speaker today, my boss, Shad Groverland.
How y'all doing? That was sad. How are y'all doing? The world's not that bad yet. Come on. Feels like it's getting there sometimes. All right, well, I am the president and CEO of Unity Worldwide Ministries, and I just like to give people a little idea of what that actually means. Unity has 650 ministries around the world. And so me and my staff of about 30 people located at Unity Village, we spend every single day trying to figure out how we can best support ministries like this and the Unity leaders like Jack, Norman, and Tisha that are leading these organizations to help these ministries thrive. The world has changed quite drastically in the last 5 years, especially as it comes to doing church and ministry. And so we've been doing a lot of work trying to help everyone get caught up and back to a healthy place once again. So that's what I spend almost every waking hour of my day doing. I can't stop thinking about it, can't stop researching it, can't stop listening to podcasts about what's happening. Thankfully, my wife, Erina, is also a church nerd, so we do this together and research this stuff and come up with solutions. And so we travel a lot to ministries, talking to them, giving them solutions and directions they can go in. So that's what we spend the bulk of our time in, but I want to talk a little bit about my process growing up that Jack just referred to. Many times in my life, I've come to a place to really ask this question: what do I need to be happy? You notice when you're going along throughout life, you'll get to a spot, and I imagine some of you have been there, where you realize you got a lot of things going on, but you're not very happy. That you've followed some of the prescribed paths that the world has laid out for you, and they haven't necessarily led to happiness. And I can really think of 3 distinct times in my life where that happened. Doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing, following what the world said I should be doing, and I found myself at a place where I just wasn't really happy. And so I'd stop and think about, what do I need to be happy? Well, you go down this journey, and has anyone else ever been at this point in life? Some of you are at it right now in this room, I can see it. You come to that place and you really stop to think, what do I need to be happy? Now, I want to be clear. I didn't say, what do I want? Because wants come and go. What do I really need to be happy? Well, there's a pretty smart individual who had some thoughts on this. You might have heard of this person, Albert Einstein. He said, a calm and humble life will bring more happiness than the pursuit of success and the constant restlessness that comes with it. Now, what has always fascinated me is that when someone like this, like one of these names that every single person on the planet knows, one of the most brilliant minds that ever walked the face of this earth, says something like that, you would think we'd all stop and go, maybe we should check into this. Maybe we should listen. But for whatever reason, we don't. What we do instead is we slap it onto a meme and we put it on Facebook and go, isn't that neat that Albert Einstein said that? And that's the last time we think about it. Look what he's talking about here, though. The rat race of life that the majority of us are caught up in is not a path to happiness. So you think about the prescribed path that we are given growing up. Right? We got to go to school, we got to finish high school, and then our guidance counselor gives us a plan to go on to college, or someone's convincing us that college is going to be the solution, so we go to college. If you went that route, then you start to get a career, and you just sort of go along, and you start building debt and building stress and building worry to make sure that you're now at a place that you have no chance of happiness. But you followed the world's prescribed path. And what's really fascinating to me is when I think about the individuals in my life, the outside of Unity individuals in my life that are talking about this are the things you got to do, they weren't very happy. Did anybody else ever notice that? Was your guidance counselor the most happy person you ever met on the planet? So you have these individuals in your life telling you these things you got to do on your life's path, but if you really stop to think, they're not necessarily the best role models for happiness. And then it clicked in my head, but wait, they never mentioned this was a path to happiness. As a matter of fact, they never even inferred that this was going anywhere that would bring fulfillment or joy or happiness to my life. They just said, do this thing, and then do this thing, make sure you have this class, do this thing, and then you're going to get a job, and then when you get this job, you're going to start climbing the ladder, and you work your way up your job, and then you have people at your job, like, we could groom you for management, you do this thing, this thing. But no one is actually talking about any point in time when you have happiness. Did anybody else ever notice that? They're talking about a path you should go down, but no one ever actually said what's at the end of that path. That's the trick. No one ever says what's at the end of that path. So sitting there, you just assume, oh, this is the path to happiness. We've all just accepted this must be the path to happiness. But those smart enough that they never actually say this is a path to happiness because they themselves know it's not a path to happiness because they're on that exact same path. But yet we all buy it and go, okay, I guess this is where I'm going. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow what you've said. The media supports what you say. Social media supports what you say. Everyone's supporting what you say. So surely this must be the path to happiness. But no one ever said this was the path to happiness. They just said, here's what you do next. You following me? If I lose you, let me know, because I'll leave. I don't want to waste your time. I'm tired of wasting people's time. We don't have time to waste time here. So here we are on this path, and there's a million different paths, but fundamentally they're all the path to consumerism. If you haven't realized that yet, I'm sorry, I just woke you up to that reality. It's basically the path to consumerism, to make sure you're buying more junk, so you're indebted to more useless things that don't authentically bring you joy, so you'll never have time to actually find the things that do authentically bring you joy. That's fundamentally the path that most of us bought into. There's another really famous, beautiful avatar, Mr. Miyagi. If you're not familiar with this individual from the Karate Kid series, he said, focus, Daniel-san. He's speaking to Daniel there. If you don't have focus in your life, someone else is going to give you a direction. Have you noticed that? I've actually noticed if I find someone who doesn't have focus in their life, I can hand them a direction. I wish I could do that more often. I got a lot of things I'm trying to get done here. If you don't have focus in your life, someone else will hand you direction. And as adults, we assume we get that. We assume, like, yeah, I get that. I've known that about life. I've known that about people I've run into. But yet, we are manipulated by that exact same thing. The more distracted we are, the easier it is for outside influences to give us a direction that works to their benefit. I'll say that again. The more distracted we are, the easier it is for an outside influence to give us a direction that benefits them, not us. So it was fascinating. I was working at the MGM Grand Hotel. When I first came on board, I was the lowest rung sound engineer, because that's where you come in. And you had a hierarchy of sound engineers. And the longer you were there, the more you worked your way up, the cooler and more fun shows you got to work on, the bigger stuff you got to do. So I was in this hierarchy, and I just loved what I did. It was so much fun working on these parties and these shows and mixing sound and doing this thing. And I was good at what I did, but I also had a good head on my shoulders, which in the world of production is not that easy to find. So I had a good head on my shoulders. I was raised in Unity. I was not there to manipulate people. I was there to make people feel better about their lives and to work hard. And the management noticed that. And they said, well, we want to move you up. So I was moving up the ladder. And the fascinating thing is I kept moving up into this company. And the more I progressed through the company, the further away I got from the thing I enjoyed, which was just working and doing shows and sound. But now I'm making the schedule for the people that do the sound, and then I was managing the people that make the schedule for the people doing sound. And the more higher I got, the more I was just sitting at a desk having nothing to do with mixing sound. Because I didn't have the focus and understanding that the simplicity of what I was doing with just showing up, mixing a show, and leaving was really what I truly enjoyed. Other people in my life said, no, we're going to advance you. You'll make more money. You'll move up, until I was at a place I was making more money, but I was significantly less happy and more in debt and not doing the thing I enjoyed anymore. Has anyone else ever experienced that? Come on, people. Come on, somebody. They call us in Unity the frozen chosen because we all just sit there like this. Some other churches, there's some noise in there. You get some amen. Some people are alive. You see some beating hearts. In Unity, we get the frozen chosen. Come on, people. Let's come to life once in a while. You can live. You can interact. There's energy happening here. So you get to that place in life, you're like, I keep following the prescribed system, and I keep winding up in more debt, more stress, and more illness, fundamentally. And I did that 3 distinct times in my life, where I let the system choose a path for me. I got to a place and I said, I did it again. Another slightly famous person, you might have heard of her, Mother Teresa. We've heard of her, yes? Okay, good. She said, live simply. Again, you would think a person like this, one of the most famous people to ever walk this planet, doing the most incredible service work we've ever heard of on this planet, when she comes out and says something, you think we'd go, hold on, everyone, stop the presses, hold on. Mother Teresa just said, live simply, and we're not doing that. Maybe we should recalibrate our lives to what she said. But again, we go, you know what, let's just get a picture of Mother Teresa, put this on top of that, and put it on Facebook. And then we can go, I like that. Instead of completely redirecting our lives to be in accordance with that, which is probably why she actually said it. Live simply. Why would she say live simply? Well, we're going back to Albert Einstein. He's saying you're just complicating your lives for no reason whatsoever. It's not going to bring you joy. It's not going to bring you happiness. But we go, Albert didn't really know that much. He showed up to work with his coat hanger still in his jacket. What did he know? His mind was on other things. It wasn't on wardrobe, so give the guy a break. Live simply. And that really is the 3 times I came to in my life when I came to those moments where I realized I got caught up in the system again. I would think back and go, all right, when was I most happy? And it was when I was living the most simply. It was when I didn't have the nicest car, I didn't have the highest paying job. I had a job that I did, I went home, and I didn't think about, because it really wasn't that important in the world. Those are great jobs, by the way. We shame those jobs. Shame on you for shaming those jobs. A job that's basically meaningless is a great job. You don't think about it at night. You go home, you have a life, you enjoy your friends. You're not like, oh, my job's so important. God, those are great jobs. Does anybody else have basically meaningless job, enjoyed it? Come on, people. Surely you have. Yeah, they're great jobs. You know, here in Colorado, when you think about people that actually came to these realizations that, you know what, I could live a simple life and mostly spend my time doing the things I enjoy, we actually shame those people. Right? We're all familiar with ski bums. We call them bums because they've chosen to spend most of their life skiing instead of working. We're like, how dare you? How dare you do the thing you love, you bum? You're just a dead weight on society. You should be stuck in a cubicle under a fluorescent light, and you're out in the sunshine and the snow enjoying your life? How dare you? We're going to push you to the outskirts of society. And I was thinking about that not too long ago, that we actually shame people that choose to step out of this ridiculous path that has been sold to us. We do it to each other. We actually try to corral our friends and family members back into this ridiculous path with fear and all sorts of nonsense to say, no, 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 that's not safe. You might not have health insurance. You're not going to have this. You're not going to have that. Think if this happened. What if you had an accident? Like, I'm afraid you might enjoy your life, so I've got to scare you back into where the rest of us in this crowd are not enjoying our lives. So it doesn't really necessarily take the media, it just takes us who have bought into the system to make sure no one else is enjoying their life. Because it makes me feel a little bit less about myself if I see you over there enjoying your life and I'm not, and I'm in here. So I've got to sort of shame you back into this system because God forbid you actually step out to enjoy your life. Does the way I live align with my beliefs and my priorities? I authentically believe that you should enjoy your life and that there's few other things that are more important. What I do believe is more important is a connection to God. Because a connection to God is actually going to authentically bring joy into your life. So that connection to God is actually more important than anything else because that's going to bring everything else that you authentically need to have in your life, which is joy and fulfillment and peace. So I've come to points in my life where I say, do I authentically believe? Does my life align with that belief? Does anyone else feel like they're kind of tired of hypocrites in the world today? That's 13 of you. So the rest of you are like, you know what, hypocrites are great. I'm on board. I vote for them all the time. I try to send a lot of money to them. Is anyone else here tired of hypocrites in their life? Okay. Now let me ask you, is anyone else here tired of being a hypocrite? Get your hands up, people. You are a hypocrite. If I followed you around for 3 days, I guarantee you I could call you out. I'm a hypocrite. We are all hypocrites. So I'm going to help you be more comfortable with this. And count of 3, say, I'm a hypocrite. 1, 2, 3. I'm a hypocrite. See, you didn't own it. I knew you were going to do it weak like that. We're going to do it again. This time you're going to own it. 1, 2, 3. I'm a hypocrite. We are all hypocrites. Our lives do not authentically reflect what we believe to be true. That is fundamentally the spiritual path. We're trying to get our life to be in alignment with the authenticity of what we believe. We're working on it. But ultimately, we are hypocrites. Now, I, for one, am absolutely tired of the hypocrisy in the world. And I don't want to be adding to it any more than I have to. Do you agree with that? So I have to ask myself, does the way I live align with my beliefs and my priorities? If you followed me around for a week, would you see that the way I live authentically aligns with what I say and what I believe? If it doesn't, I'm doing something wrong. Well, I thought about this and said, I absolutely want to be the type of person that if you see how I live, you'll say that person authentically believes what they say, and they do it. So I have shifted my life to really say this world can't afford any more hypocrisy. I have got to be living authentically because that's the most impactful lesson I can share with the world. What I tell you today is relatively pointless if you see me anywhere else in the rest of my life and I'm not authentic. Would you agree with that? You'll throw it out the window in 2 seconds. You see me outside kicking my tire and punching my window because I can't get my door open in my car, you're going to go, okay, I'm not sure he's really doing what he says here. I'm going to get to this. There's a great passage in the book of Mark. And it really touches on what do we truly believe. I think I authentically believe in God, but I've got to call that into question. Because I don't want to be a hypocrite. If I authentically believe in God, I don't want to be a hypocrite. So you think about, what do I believe and what do I believe? Because there is a difference. We say we believe in things, and then there's what we believe. And those are the things we act on. Do you recognize the difference? Okay. So there's those things that we say we believe in, but then there's what we believe in. What do we actually do? So in the book of Mark, you have this father who has a son that appears to be possessed. We know in modern times a child might have had epilepsy or something that they thought was a possession. So this father brings his son to the disciples of Jesus to be healed. The disciples can't do it. So they sort of push it up the ladder to Jesus. And so the father comes to Jesus trying to heal his son. This is what Jesus says. Jesus said to him, if you are able, all things can be done for the one who believes. Immediately the father of the child cried out, I believe, help my unbelief. Now, when I read the Bible, I've a few times in my life questioned, did this really happen? Is this just a made-up story people got together and wrote down? But I'll come to points like this, and I'll go, this is so real. I can feel this father's pain in that moment. Think about what's happening here. Jesus has just said to him, if you truly believe this can be done, this child will be healed. And in that moment, that father knows he only believes it can be done. He doesn't believe it can be done. So what does he say? He says, I believe, but help my unbelief. His child's life is at stake. He's brought him to this person who can heal him, and all of a sudden he finds out this person doesn't have magical powers. It actually has to do with the father's belief in the child's illness. All of a sudden it's been flipped back on him. He's hoping like, oh, some outside source is going to heal my kid. I just go about my way, and then this beautiful human being says, that's not how this worked. I don't have a wand. It is your belief that is holding your child in illness. So until you check that at the door, this child will be sick. And the father goes, oh, darn. I believe, but help my unbelief. That is just so real to me as a father, realizing it's me holding my child captive because I believe they're sick. Jesus can't fix this problem because it's my consciousness I have to address. And that father wants that kid healed so bad, he's saying, please help my unbelief. He now realizes the core of the issue is his unbelief. And as a parent, you realize it is the things you believe that affect your children more than things you say. I don't know if you noticed that. I said all sorts of things that my daughter ignored, but how she saw me live is what affected the person she becomes. So what do I truly believe? Well, for me, if I actually believe in God, which I say I do, then God must become a priority in my life. If people don't see God as a priority in my life and I say I believe in God, then I am a hypocrite. What then in my life needs to shift to align with that belief and that priority? If I'm going to be authentically believing in God, then I'm going to have to shift my life so that if anybody looked at my life, they'd say, yep, that person authentically believes in God. Because I don't want to be a hypocrite. The world doesn't need any more of that. I realized three things would have to happen. I would have to have a dedication to a daily spiritual practice. When researchers looked at what it takes to become sort of an expert at anything, playing a music, playing an instrument, playing a sport, they roughed it out to be 10,000 hours of practice. It takes 10,000 hours of practice to be an expert at something. Well, if I want to be an expert at life, I'm going to have to at least put 10,000 hours into my spiritual practice, which means I'm going to have to be cranking away at this thing every single day. And imagine mastering life takes more than 10,000 hours because it's the culmination of all abilities. I'm going to have a dedication to daily spiritual practice, and I'm going to have to be dedicated to my spiritual community. Why, you say? Good question. When you think about that we're living in a world that is constantly trying to corral people back into the system of chaos and fear and nonsense, and these are your family members and your relatives and your neighbors and your coworkers, and they are constantly working to corral you back into the corral of fear and debt and nonsense, you sure as heck better have a group of people like this that believe what you believe and are supporting you on this path. Because it is really hard to do this work by yourself when you're fighting against a system that has everything against you. A media that has everything against you, social media posts that are all against you, a system that's all against you. You've got to have a spiritual community that is supporting you on this spiritual path, that thinks like you think, that doesn't think you're crazy to say, you know what, I have an illness, perhaps I need to check my consciousness. Perhaps I need to check my thinking just like this father had to check. You've got to have a community that's helping you on that path. That's why coming together like this is so important and valuable, surrounding you with people that agree with the way you see the world. Third, dedication to living unity principles. I am a Unity minister. I am now working with a Unity organization. I want to authentically be living these principles. If I'm sharing these with people, I want to authentically be living them. If I'm anybody in Unity, I would think I'd want to authentically be living these principles, so if anybody saw my life, they'd say, yep, that is a Unity person. I can tell just by the way they showed up today. We talk about how do we get the Unity message out there. I say, we can shout it from the top of a mountain, and it is useless if Unity people don't show up looking like Unity people. Until we are living authentically the principles we teach, it is a pointless message to put out there, because we are the message. We are the living examples. And until we decide we're going to authentically live these principles, we are hypocrites. How's everybody doing so far? You got really quiet. I see people like gasping for air a little bit. There's like some soft breathing going on. I don't want to lose you. Fundamentally, Unity principle, we are one family as children of God, individualized, unique expressions of the one. We've probably all heard statements similar to that. So then how will this shift my life knowing I believe it and it is a priority to me, not just something I think about on Sunday, but it actually becomes a moment-by-moment priority in my life? How will I shift my life according to that priority? If I actually believe that to be true, if I actually believed we are one family, oh my goodness, my life would be different. I would certainly stop pointing my finger at those people, that politician, that thing, that organization, if I knew we were all one family as children of God. For me, I've decided I will not consciously or subconsciously, directly or indirectly suppress or harm members of my God family. It would not make any sense if I authentically believed we were one family that I would have any part in suppressing or harming other members of my family, consciously or subconsciously. We are not all one until we are all treated equitably. One thing we found in Unity is that we like to say we're all one, and that's actually been weaponized to get around the fact that we're not treating others like we are all one. We call it a spiritual bypass. We say, we're all one, I don't see color. We're all one, I don't see sexual identity. We're all one, I don't see gender. Meanwhile, we're part of a system that's suppressing people in those exact same groups. This includes all suppressed groups of Black, Indigenous people of color, LGBTQ+, women, varying abilities, and animals. For me, I will no longer be party to the suppression, exploitation, or consuming of members of my God family. If I absolutely 100% authentically believe that we are all children of God on this path, I cannot be part of a system that is holding others back. Would you agree with that? That means that me, now standing here as a cisgender, heterosexual, white, middle-class male, I'm part of a system that was designed by people like me to favor people like me and to suppress people and animals unlike me. And subconsciously, I'm part of that system, whether I know it or not. And if I'm not actively checking my consciousness at the door and challenging the way I think to make sure I'm not part of this system, with an unconscious biases to let this system continue because it favors me, then I am actively suppressing or exploiting and consuming members of my God family. Now I'm sharing with you my journey. Each one of you has your own individualized journey, your own conversation with God, your own consciousness to answer to. I'm just sharing you my journey. I don't tell you to do or not to do anything. It is for you to choose what works in your life. But I just realized I cannot be part of a process anymore that holds other people and creatures back, let alone suppresses and daily harms them. Because now I feel that as a member of my family. So what do you really need to be happy? I mean, really need to be happy. We've attached it all sorts of garbage and junk and ridiculous things and cars and houses and boats and shoes and jackets. I love shoes. I got shoes I love. But what do I really need to be happy? And for me, when I've done that work, and I've actually done it with my wife, we realize we don't really need that much to be happy. It's the clutter and the nonsense we put in our lives that creates the distractions away from actually being happy. That short-term burst of happiness when we buy a car doesn't cut it anymore. Because when you get to an awareness, you realize this is just going to bring more stress because I got to pay off this stupid thing for the next 6 years. It's not worth that one short-term burst when I first get it. What do I really need to be happy? Well, Mother Teresa, her full quote is actually, live simply so that others may simply live. She's working in third world nations, looking back at us in the first world and going, come on, people. Could you share a little? Could you share a little of the resources of the rest of the planet so they can maybe have some time to enjoy their lives? So they could have some food to eat? Look at Mother Teresa's perspective at the rest of the world, and she's going, how much do you really need to be happy? The way we live suppresses and harms members of our God family every moment of the day when we don't think about it. We just go about this system that's been sold to us that we haven't stopped to question. Well, my wife and I have been on this journey. We keep questioning, how much do we need to really be happy? How much do we need to really be happy? And that process has led us to live into a 180 square foot tiny home. Because we were in a 5-bedroom home. Because the real estate agent says you need to have room to entertain. I don't like to entertain, so why are you in my house? They say you've got to have a kitchen and a big space to entertain people. I don't want people eating my food. What are you doing in my house? There's hotels right nearby. You can stay there. We can go eat at a restaurant. Why am I packing you into my house? So we scaled down from a 5-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom apartment. And yet again, we're still sitting there going, we still don't need all this space. This is wasted space. It's just space to put junk. That causes more guilt and worry. So we scaled down again. We got our tiny home. We now still live, after 3 years, in our 180 square foot tiny home. And for 2 of those years, we had our daughter with us. What do I really need to be happy? And am I living at the expense of the happiness of those around me? Because once you realize you don't really need that much to be happy, all of a sudden the floodgates of God start pouring into your life. All of a sudden you realize, you know what? I was packing on garbage in the pathway that Spirit was trying to flow. You start removing that clutter from your house, and all of a sudden you realize there's abundance not attached to clutter. It's attached to flow, but flow needs room to move. Well, another brilliant person, our Unity co-founder, Myrtle Fillmore, she said, true prosperity is not making money or putting out goods or developing property. It is determining what our souls require in order to cause them to unfold more of God. All you have to do is start figuring out how to unfold more of God in your life, and happiness all of a sudden starts to show up. I tell people, I did not want this position. God wanted me in this position. Spirit was flowing in this direction. I knew the person who had this position before me, and I was like, yeah, I would never want that job. I told her that. We laughed about it together in her car. I was like, I would never want this job. What a nightmare. And in the back seat, Spirit was laughing its head off. And now here I am. But it is a miraculous, beautiful, incredible experience that I would never have said I wanted, but I opened up enough flow in my life to allow it to happen. And here I am. So I invite you this week to really start thinking about, what do you truly need to be happy? When you see something in your house, you look at it and go, does this really bring me happiness? Or is this just the guilt of an heirloom that's been handed to me that I don't know what to do with? That storage shed I have of a bunch of stuff that I never even look at, does it really bring me happiness, or could I pass it on to other people that it might be able to bless? That's the opportunity I invite you to have this week. Just start thinking about what truly brings you happiness. And that is the truth as I experience it. Thank you. We're going to take an offering for Unity now.
Thank you, Shad. You know, Jesus told us that we want to live in the world, but not of the world. You know, the of the world is what was just talked, you know, hypocrisy, fear, and scarcity. But living in the world, living in spirit, is where you have that prosperity, that peace. So today, when you are donating, you are aligning yourselves with spirit. And today, when you're donating, you are contributing to this organization here that is dedicated to aligning the whole earth with spirit. And there are two things ways to donate that are not listed there. One is our bookstore. Do you know that our bookstore can order any book and have it delivered here without any shipping charges? So if you're going to get a book, instead of going to Amazon, you can just call the store or come here and we can order that book for you. And the other way that Chad also mentioned is we have so many ways for you to practice right here in this community. Today I have that conscious communication practice group where you come, anyone can come, and we practice living and speaking from spirit. So show up and participate. Thank you. I mean, it's already here.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Well, I really enjoyed the talk that Shad gave, but I have one thing. Person on that path that he's talking about, would they really wear orange shoes? That makes you happy. Anyway, you'll hear my rebuttal on his talk next week at the 9 a.m. service. So now we have freely received, we've been inspired, we have an opportunity to put into practice some of the things that Shad is talking about, and our lives will be enriched by it because he lives this truth. And we ask everybody, you know, you can listen to it on a Sunday and you can talk about it in Fellowship Hall, but unless you make that dedication to be focused on this God consciousness that we talk about in Unity, it's not going to be of very much value to you. But we have received this beautiful value to put it to practice in our lives. So with that thought in mind, let's bring into our hands that gift we'd like to make to Unity of Boulder. And let's bless that gift with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is. We have the opportunity to listen to Mashi Barus share her beautiful music.
Let us determine what our souls require. Let us determine what our souls require. Let us determine what our souls require to unfold more of God. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing live simply so others may simply live. Let us share all the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath, and smile. And lean into the simplicity of God. I believe, help my unbelief. Let me look at my consciousness, look at my consciousness. Fall in love with growth, fall in love with the clarity. Ask what I need to live my life fully. And may I do amazing, amazing. I will do amazing things from the flow and abundance of God. Amazing, amazing, serving this world. I will do amazing things. Believe it now, know it. Amazing, amazing. We will do amazing things. Oh, yes, we will. Amazing, amazing. We will do amazing things. Turn to your neighbor. Amazing, amazing. I believe in you. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. I will do amazing things. Yes, you will.
All right. Where's my song leader? Okay, we're going to do.
I release.
Everybody, get into it now. I release and I let go.
I release
And I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release in the Spirit. Let me hear you now. Oh, my heart. Who are you here for? Oh, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Good on you.
Let there be peace on